Hello, close. I've just got a minute now while I'm waiting for the potatoes to cook. We're having our evening meal on Sunday, which today we're having mashed potatoes, peas, broccoli and sausages. I'm having some Linda McCartney sausages for half a cent each because I've run out of rosemary red onions. But just having a quick think about my brain's been milling around. I spoke to Jane briefly and a comment about the way in which we habits of paints, like paint layers, and I thought I do find these videos really helpful just to really cement my viewpoints on things, and I feel quite strongly that I was walking through the bungalow area, which I really find is a moment of clarity always for me, and I just realised that sometimes you feel like you're a different person, and you think that it will never happen that you'll be a different person because you're always the same person, but suddenly you find yourself in a body and in a mind that is completely different to what you were before, and it's almost like you've got no access to the behaviour that you were before because you've changed so much. I feel like when I was younger I had little points in my head that I would reach, and then I had a bit when I was going to be about 15, and I had a bit when I was going to be about 25, and I had a bit when I was going to be about 40. I had an image of the type of person I was going to be. I'm 36 now and I'm approaching the 40. I don't have one for the future. I haven't got one past 40. But I'm aware that the person that I'm going to be when I'm 40 is going to be calm, confident and capable. And I realise that that's starting to happen. I'm starting to make progress. Not happening. You're going to come with me to check the sausages because I can smell them going. I have to just check the sausages. And I realise it's starting to happen, and it's only happening. It's only happening because of the layers of paint I'm putting on me. So I've just had to think about how this would happen, and I feel like it's like layers over the top, like little. Originally I thought maybe like varnish, the way you do varnish, you layer it up. But I just putting a comment with Jane, I realise it's like you've got a dark mark on the wall and you're covering it up, and you put one little layer over the top of paint, specific colour that you want to choose, and it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really cover, for example, you've got permanent marker or something on the wall, it doesn't really do anything, it doesn't really make any difference. But you have to put another layer on, so each day you have to wait for that layer to dry, and you have to put another layer on top, and you have to keep doing that day after day after day after day. And because it's such a big old dark mark, it's not really making any difference, especially if you've got that sort of thin paint that doesn't really do very much. And sometimes it feels like that with habits. You feel like you're not really getting anywhere, you don't really feel like you're doing anything. It feels like a really hard thing to do. But eventually, over like months and months of doing this thing where you've got this layer of paint, you just keep going over it again, eventually you've got to the point where you can't see that. You can't see that mark. And you say, okay, well I'll stop painting now. That's covered up. And you go away, and then, shall we say, 4 months later, you come back, you come in your room, you go and use your room, and you look at that piece of wall, and there's a bit of your brain that does not remember. You don't remember. You look at it and there's no part of you that remembers that there was ever a dark mark there, because you've got so used to the new colour, you got so used to the new environment that there's no way your brain is going to remember that there was a dark mark under there, especially if you've got lots of different marks here. How would you remember? Would you remember what colour it was under there? Do you remember that? Would you remember what shape it was? And I feel like that's a way in which our habits can change. We have this bit where we, day after day, we do something new. So, shall we say, I don't know, sweetener instead of sugar in your coffee, or having a piece of fruit instead of a biscuit with your drink, maybe using lower fat sausages instead of full fat sausages, little tiny little marks. Maybe what I was speaking to Jane about was the fact that when she went to the cheesecake shop and she chose some cheesecake for Richard's birthday, and then came away and realised that she didn't get any cheesecake for herself, and it hadn't even occurred to her that she would have cheesecake. And that's the habit bit where she's painted over the habit so much that she does not eat those things anymore, so much that her brain completely forgot that she did. And I think that's the bit to get to, because sometimes you don't think you're ever going to change, because you think, well, how can I? I'm me. This is my personality. This is my personality trait. I'm a person, like what Jane says. I'm a greedy person. But oh, there we go. Hello, Mrs. I was just doing a video. You're right. You okay?
I want to come through here.
Okay, we're not doing the telly through here. If you want to come through, you can. Yeah, she says she's a greedy person, but there's a bit of me thinks, well, we say these things about ourselves. We think these are personality traits. Like I'll say, I'm a quiet person. I'm a quite docile person. I'm quiet. I don't really rock the boat. But maybe that isn't me. Maybe that's just something I've habitually done. And if I want to change those habits, maybe there's something I don't want about myself anymore. I can change those habits and I can be an entirely different person, because I'm a person now who food optimizes. I'm a person now who, if faced with chocolate biscuits or something, I don't automatically eat them. I think, how many sins? Do I want to spend those sins? Is this how I want to do it? Is this my plan? Is this what I want to achieve? Is this, or I'll see a plate and I'll think, is that got enough speed veg on it? Am I already automatic? And I think that's the interesting thing about creating those new habits. About so it kind of spun off from that Slim for Life thing about being a naturally slim person. When you hit target, the process, because you will go through this process where, hello, you're more than welcome to come in, but no telly in here. What's happened? Is it pinged off? What, is it broken? Just pulled out. It's because you pulled it away from the plug.
I pulled it,
yeah.
but now it's not
it won't
there.
go back in. Is it pinged off?
Don't know.
What's the charge like?
32.
Okie dokie, you'll be alright for a bit then. Good boy.
I did it.
Okay, so trying to think about the way in which I can kind of, think about the fact that I will become a person that is different to the person I am now. I've only been at Target for I don't know, I think it was something like February or something, or I can't remember now. March. Got my book. I've got some in here. My book here. Have I? Let's see when I hit target. Target. Where is my target? Have I been there? I think my first target was 11, so yeah, the 27th of the 3rd. And then the second target, Stone 7, was... Hello? No, have I really been at target that long? Okay. So it looks like I've been there for a year. So 27th of the 3rd, 2017 is when I hit target. And I've been there a year. 27th of the 3rd. 27th of the 3rd. Yeah, oh well. I was thinking I I'm a Diamond Target member, but I don't think I am. Because at that point I've obviously missed my chance to do that. But I was below my first target, so it's pretty good. But here we go, look, so that was 10 stones, 7.5. Looks like I was there 27th of 12th, 2017, so like just at the end of December. There, look, just about there. So should we say, a year and a half then, more or less. A year and a half been at Target, and still just organising things. I'm a lot further more confident than I was when I first started, when I was right back at 13 stone, 8.5 here, in starting date the 4th of July 2016. So what are we on now? 2018? 2 years ago? I don't know what I remember, but if I've been at Target a year and a half, it was like 2016, 17. Oh yeah, confused myself. Been there for a bit. Do we say? Been there for a bit. Just got to check the sausages. So yeah, I've been there for a little while, and so it takes a little while to figure out all the ins and outs of it. I think that sausage is very grilled now. Yeah, it takes a little while to get all the ins and outs of it right. And I feel like they're starting to take place. But, on the other hand, the other thing I was thinking about with the paint metaphor is the fact that it's good and everything to paint over those layers. But you have to watch it, because if you use the wrong colour paint, slightly different shade, you've almost got to start. You've got to keep going again, right from the beginning again. So you've got to watch it to make sure that those habits you're making, keep making the right choices. Eventually, it'll be fine, and you'll be completely utterly fine, and you'll have made those habits so strongly that they become almost, unbreakable, in terms of, you've got to really push to be able to make them not kind of a functional habit anymore. Just got to choose your colour and focus on that, so that you can make your body, make your mind a certain colour. Keep painting over those habits, so that eventually you'll find that let's get that on, because I'll pull them out and go put them in and put the Yorkshire puddings in. Eventually, once you've painted over your mind, you'll have this clean slate, and all of those habits that you struggled so long will eventually disappear. And it's quite liberating to think that I might not be stuck in my brain forever. I might not be stuck with my bad habits. That if I just keep painting over things in my mind, because I've already started to see it happen, if I just keep on that process of keep painting over every day a new layer of food optimizing, a new layer of food optimizing, a new layer of food optimizing, eventually all of those little kinks and all, filling everything in, all of that will all start to come together, and I'll be closer to a path of naturally food optimizing. Okay, I've finished dinner. I'll go and mash potatoes now, and those sausages are enthusiastically cooked. So I shall stop here, and I will upload. Lots of love to everybody. Bye.